Hello and welcome to the Aesthetic Business Masters podcast, the show where we spotlight the people, ideas and strategies shaping the future of aesthetic business. I'm your host, Nicole Montgomery, and in each episode we bring you conversations with founders, leaders and innovators who are redefining success in aesthetics through vision, education and commercial excellence. Today's episode is a really interesting one because we're not just talking about a brand, we're talking about the business journey behind it. Joining us today is Kaitlyn, Director of Cambridge Medical, to explore the founder's story behind Rejuran, what she recognised in the market early on, and how she helped build momentum around the brand through education, trust, and long-term strategy. We'll be talking about market gaps, business growth, the power of education, the importance of authorised supply, and what it takes to build genuine brand equity in a fast-moving aesthetic landscape. Kaitlyn, welcome to the Aesthetic Business Masters podcast.
I'm a bit nervous, but anyway.
You'll be great. So Kaitlyn, to start off, I'd love it if you could tell us a little bit about your background and what you were doing before you came to start this incredible journey with Rejuran.
Okay, I'm originally from Korea, and I started my career as a software engineer in telecommunications. So I spent about 20 years in the IT industry. So I still have an engineer's mindset in me. So before Rejuran, I worked for a Nasdaq-listed US company. The name is Rain Networks, and it was originally a spin-off from Microsoft. And I moved to Australia in 2012 to set up the company's Australian business as a director. So my last IT project before Rejuran was in AI facial recognition and working with banks, governments, and telecom companies in Australia.
Goodness me, Kaitlyn, what a huge jump from being in the IT world at a very male-dominated industry to aesthetics, which is very female. And Rejuran, what led you to discover the brand and what stood out to you that made you, I guess, take a big leap of faith and start Rejuran?
Yeah, it's a really big change for me. So it's a bit long story. So I have been in corporate for such a long time. And during COVID, like many other people, I had a chance to pause and reflect my life. And I started thinking about exploring a different path, not in IT or some different IT. So I left my role and went back to Korea after about 9 years in Australia. So that was 2021. So it was during COVID lockdown time. I wanted to give myself a proper break. So almost like a rewards after working for 20 years. But I am the kind of person who feels guilty if I'm not doing anything. So once I have a break after for 1 week, I'll feel very guilty. So I created my job list schedule for myself. So it became my safety zone during my break. So it's like this. My morning starts at 9 a.m. with golf lesson, and the other day for the gym. And I made sure to have at least 5 meetings each week with people in my network. So it could be friends, colleagues, even friends of friends, really anyone. So I have to keep one meeting a day or for 5 days a week. So I kept myself in that rhythm and made a promise to stick with it until I found my next step with my career and with no time limit. My job list schedule, I had reconnected because I was away for 9 years from Korea. So it was great time. And it was quite interesting. But almost everyone I met, they were trying to help me figure out what my next career could be. So they are sharing their ideas and trends they were singing. And also I have many doctor friends. So sometimes one-on-one, sometimes in groups, they all kept mentioning Rejuran. So saying it was one of the most well-known injectables in Korea. So one of them, so my doctor friend, has a close connection with the Rejuran company and offered to introduce me directly to the company, suggesting maybe I can explore it as a potential business opportunity. So I've always been interested in skincare, but to be honest, at the time I didn't know much about the aesthetic industry at all and business perspective. But that's really how it all started. So when my doctor friends arranged the meeting with the Rejuran company, I was actually a bit worried because I didn't know industry at all, and I thought maybe this meeting would be a me and for them as well. So I decided to prepare for the meeting. So because time was my side. So I spent about 2 weeks creating a presentation on the Australian medical aesthetics market. So covering market size, competitors, or regulations, or insights from interviews with Australian doctors and nurses. I called them and I said, "How can you please explain about Australian aesthetic market? How you think?" Little kind of interviews I did. So I genuinely enjoyed doing research. In the end, the presentation was around 100 pages. That's a lot. When I meet the company, after a brief introduction each other, I told them, "Hey, I prepared something on the Australian aesthetic market. Hear it?" And they said, of course, yes, right? So the meeting was meant to be 20 minutes, but it became an hour and a half. So that's when we really started to see the potential. And even then, even after that, I still felt very uncertain. So I spoke to people around me, doctors or distributors, to get their advice and perspective. And I think I was very lucky. So I had people who believes in me and in the product. So looking back, I realized that sometimes you don't start because you feel fully ready, because I wasn't ready, but you start because someone believes you can do it, and they see something in you that you cannot see in yourself. So I think I be that person for someone else too.
Oh, that's so beautiful, Kaitlyn. And you're obviously very analytical. Research is obviously very important to you. And I assume you're a very logical person coming from IT. When you first looked at the industry and were talking to people and gathering all this research and data, what gap did you see, and what made you believe that there was an opportunity in that gap?
I really like researching. So that's one of my hobby. So the more I understood the market, the more I realized there was a clear gap between Australia. So Korea tends to be ahead in trends, especially in skincare. So they are moving towards more natural, regenerative outcomes across injectables and treatments and skincare. So back then, Australia was still earlier in that journey. So I saw an opportunity, and particularly with the growing demand for treatments focused on skin quality.
And at that early stage, what gave you the confidence? And I think you might have answered this earlier, talking about the people around you, but the confidence to back the brand and build business around it. And I'm assuming that not only your personal time, but huge finances would have, had to go into this to create what you've created in such a short time.
Yeah, I think I have a courage, luckily. But I think it was the doctors I knew who had experience with it over time. So, and they were highly respected in the Korean aesthetic industry. So hearing their perspective and their feedback gave me the confidence to move forward. And then I decided to go.
That's fantastic. You just thought, you know what, I'm just going to do this and give it a go. And it's really paid off because Rejuran is everywhere and it's fantastic.
Yes, that's amazing. I really appreciate you about that.
And when you reflect back on the early days, what were some of the key decisions that helped you shape the direction and the growth of the business? Because you've made some incredible decisions that have all paid off.
I think because this was my second career, right? I worked for industry for more than 20 years. So I set a clear guiding principle early on. So not to prioritize short-term sales, but to enjoy the journey, enjoy the process and build it properly. So I talk to myself every day. So I focus on understanding the market and more importantly, on building trust with my new clients. So I had a strong confidence in the product. So I invested heavily in education, supporting clinics and building the brand carefully over time. So I think looking back, I believe that approach played a key role in shaping the direction and growth.
Absolutely. I mean, from the day dot, Rejuran has always been about education and always held really, really valuable seminars, conferences, events that have had some of the biggest names in the industry from across the world. And that education is something that you guys are really known for, which is fantastic.
Thank you.
And was there a defining moment, or was there any moment, I guess, where you realized that, oh my goodness, this business is going to work and it's going to thrive? And I guess a turning point where you realized the brand was gaining real traction and momentum in the Australian market?
Well, I still was nervous because I wasn't so sure this is working. It worked in Korea, but doesn't mean it will work in Australia. So, but it's at a very early conference when I decided we got a approval and we distributed Rejuran. And they shared how much they loved the Rejuran and their their patients were very happy with the result. And they even thanked me for bringing Rejuran to Australia. I think that really stayed with me. So it made me realize, this was becoming more than just a product. I was super happy for me. I was super happy for them. It was a shared journey with clinic partners.
That's incredible. And we love obviously talking about all of the wins and all the successes. We all do. But were there any difficult or challenging lessons that you had to learn along the way, or anything that you would do differently that you found, as being a founder and starting something, building something from scratch?
Nicole, but I learned hardly because the medical industry is quite complex and heavily regulated. And I learned most of things through experience. So looking back, I think I would have built more structure earlier, so especially around operations and regulatory processes. So, but at the same time, I believe those experiences were part of my journey and I'm still learning every day.
I think we all are. And sometimes I feel like I've learned everything the hard way. As wonderful as it is to get advice from other people, sometimes, you just have to trust your gut and take a risk.
Correct. Absolutely.
And what was there a standout part in the Rejuran story? One of the standout parts, in the Rejuran story is obviously education. Why was building the academy such an important part of the business? And did that become part of the business model? And why was that important? Why did you start the Rejuran Academy, I guess?
I believe education is everything. Without it, it's just a product in box. So while this kind of product, it truly comes to life when it's administered by a fully qualified, skilled professional. So education helps practitioners build confidence and understand how to approach it properly and integrate it into their practice in a thoughtful way.
It's fantastic. And I think there's a lot of brands out there that could learn so much from what you've done and what you've created. How do you see education as supporting, not just creating brand awareness and giving clinics real confidence in what they're doing with the product, but also in consistency with their results?
Absolutely. So the and then repeated education build confidence, and that confidence naturally leads to more constant results, and that makes you can make a client, your patient happier, and then see the outcome.
And obviously, education is a huge part of the business that you've built and the brand. And the industry is so competitive and constantly evolving. There's always new brands coming in. There's always brands trying to get your clients and vice versa and whatnot. Why do you think that more businesses aren't focusing on education and its importance?
I think because in this industry, it's not just about the product. We need to tell how it's used. So that is the fundamental. So education helps the clinic truly understand the product and the science behind it, and then it comes with like a protocols or to patient selection, and that leads to the better outcome. So in a competitive and evolving market, the level of the in-depth understanding is what makes the difference.
Yes, so true. And I guess, you've probably seen it before, you can have the best product or the best skincare in the world, but if it's not used correctly, you're not going to get the best result from that product or, topical lotion. And how has the Academy helped support long-term clinic growth rather than just short-term product uptake?
Well, Rejuran has been used globally since 2013, right? So, and it's used in over 30 countries with more than 50 million syringes administered. So there's a strong foundation, but protocols continue to evolve. So that's the reason we launched the Rejuran Academy last May to share in-depth treatments protocols and the latest case studies and clinical insights. So the Academy helps clinics stay up to date, build confidence, and deliver constant results. So then ultimately, that consistency is what supports long-term clinic growth. So not just the short-term product uptake.
You have an incredible KOL community. I mean, people must just wish that they had your phone book or contact list, I should say. What was your approach to building a strong KOL network and trainer community around the brand?
Personally, I feel very lucky to have such a strong team of KOLs and trainers. I truly appreciate them. They're not just partners, they are like a family supporters and real ambassadors for the brand. In the beginning, my approach was very simple. I wanted them to understand Rejuran properly and let them experience the education around it and share honest feedback from their own clinical perspective. And from there, the trust developed naturally.
Oh, I love that you really wanted their honest feedback and that they were in a safe environment where they could give their honest feedback if it, maybe wasn't what you wanted to hear.
Correct. Yeah. So it's good. I said, it's in the beginning, they give some advice as well. How can I make it better? And what is the right, some protocol. So they helped me a lot from the beginning.
Well, I think something that really stands out about all of your KOLs and educators is that they actually live and breathe and use the brand. It's not that they've been paid an exorbitant amount of money to turn up for 15 minutes and then leave. When we go to, one of your Rejuran events, they're there all day and they are talking about the product all day. It's not for the, 15, 20, 45 minutes they're on stage. They absolutely, truly love the product.
Yeah, I really appreciate, and I saw that love as well.
Yeah, definitely. Which is not something you see at other events and other conferences. So you're very lucky.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear. Thank you.
I shouldn't say you're not lucky. You've done a great job and you've worked very hard.
No, I'm lucky too. Very thank you.
What qualities do you look for in an educator and a partner who is representing Rejuran and educating others?
When I see the qualities, the clinical skill is important, but for me, it's more about mindset. So integrity, patient first thinking, and a genuine passion for education and long-term result. So the love to the product, love to their peer and students or the patient. I think that's all the ground qualities.
Absolutely, definitely. That's fantastic. And have you found that strong education also helps strengthen the trust, loyalty, and better treatment outcomes across clinics?
Yes, absolutely. Strong education helps build confidence, consistency, and long-term trust with clinics.
Trust is such an important word in our industry, from B2B to B2C. With trust being such a big part of brand building in aesthetics, why is authorised supply such an important part of protecting both clinics and brands themselves?
In skin treatments, patients place a lot of trust in their injectors. They always seek injectors' opinion and their recommendation. So, and that trust needs to be protected at every level. So, authorized supply isn't just about distribution. It's about ensuring product authenticity, safety, and consistency in outcomes. So it also protects the clinic's reputation, because ultimately any issue reflects back on them. So for me, it's a fundamental part of the responsible brand building.
Can you speak to the role of the authenticity stickers and similar initiatives in supporting trust and operational clarity?
Yes, that's a very new function we installed. From last month, we introduced authenticity stickers on every Rejuran box across Australia and New Zealand. So as the brand has become the global leader in its category, we've unfortunately seen increase in counterfeit products entering the market through online and grey import channels, even here in Australia. So these initiatives are important, not only for protecting patients and clinics, but also for maintaining trust and providing greater clarity around product authenticity and supply. So, and also we are introducing a patient verification card very soon. So patients can check the authenticity themselves on their mobile immediately after treatment. So it's part of our broader focus on transparency and supply chain clarity.
Goodness me. Without going down a rabbit hole, I can't understand why nobody else in the space has actually done this, because for a long time, it has been a really big issue in Australia, particularly where people are getting product on eBay, they're getting product from overseas, coming through the mail, then they're doing it themselves, or they're asking a friend to utilize that product and inject or, put it on their skin topically or post microneedling or whatever. And, obviously that causes some really terrible outcomes. And then we have, again, like you mentioned earlier, the regulation, and then the regulation becomes crazy, and, the media just feed off any negative story. And we all know nothing is safe. But if you can create an extra level of compliance where you know that the product is what the therapist or the clinician, I should say, is using, that's genius, Kaitlyn.
Thank you.
Goodness. And why do these systems matter, not just commercially, but also in helping clinics feel confident when they're delivering the treatment to the patient?
It really comes down to how much a clinic values its patients and their safety. With injectable products in syringes, it can be difficult to verify what's inside. So these systems are there to protect clinics, remove uncertainty, and build trust with patients. So they gave clinics confidence in what they're using and delivering, and that confidence is ultimately passed on to the patient.
That's incredible. That's fantastic. And it is such a crowded market. And there's so many things that come and go. And obviously everything's very fast moving. How do you build long-term brand equity rather than just getting caught up in short-term hype? And this is very relevant to Rejuran because there was like Rejuran went viral because it was semen sperm. It became a really, I think Alex Pike actually has a Instagram reel that I was liking this morning with a doctor talking about when she was fishing for her semen in Korea. No different to when mono threads went viral. I mean, everyone had these little tiny threads that they've now disappeared, obviously, and are nowhere to be found. So how do you build that long-term brand equity?
I think it's first with product quality. So in a fast-moving market, it's very easy to get distracted by trends and the new products and the new news. I think Rejuran has been used globally, as I said, for over 12, 13 years. Then long-term track safety record really matters when it comes to skin injectables. So we focus on building trust over time rather than chasing a short-term hype. In the end, brand equity isn't built on trend. It's been built on consistency, credibility, and real results. So that's the reason in Korea, still number one injectables and this for the skin quality is Rejuran.
That's so cool. Congratulations. My goodness. And what do you think clinics are really looking for in a brand partner today beyond just the product itself? There's a lot of products out there, but obviously you would know clinics very, very well. What do you think they're looking for in a brand partner?
Beyond the product, I believe clinics wants a partner they can truly rely on, someone who feels like a part of their team. So happy together, and if something happens, try to solve together. For us at Cambridge Medical, it's about supporting clinics with education, guidance, and consistency so they can grow and succeed together. I believe they are my team, and I hope they think I'm their team too.
I'm sure they do. And I just love that at every trade show, every industry event, all of your team look immaculate. It's like you're the Emirates of the industry.
Thank you. We're Korean. And then, yeah, my team loves being represented. We believe like we are representing Rejuran. So I hope it delivers like that way.
It really does. And I only said Emirates because, when you're at the airport and you see the air hostesses come through and they all look immaculate in their beautiful uniform and it just stands out so far. It's exactly the same at an event. No other company has achieved that, where every single team member is immediately identified and absolutely looks immaculate.
Thank you. I will convey your message to my team members as well.
Fantastic. And how important has consistency been in the way you've built the reputation of Cambridge Medical and Rejuran?
Consistency has been really important for us, especially as a small team. So from the beginning, we have focused on being consistent in how we work, how we communicate, and how we support clinics, and how we deliver education. So we try to stay close and be reliable in every interaction and every communication. So over time, I think those small, consistent efforts build trust, and that's what has shaped the reputation of both Cambridge Medical and Rejuran.
Well, you've done an incredible job as a founder and as a business leader. What are the biggest lessons that you've learned through this journey that you can share with us?
For me, has been the importance of having the right people around you. So they give you energy. They become your eyes and ears in the business. And often they see something you might miss as well. So I have learned that you cannot build something meaningful by yourself. People really are everything.
Oh, I hope your team get to listen to this if they have time amongst millions of things that they're doing at once, I'm sure. And are there any lessons from building Rejuran that you think would resonate with clinic owners and aesthetic business operators?
I think one of the key lessons is build a partnership. So for me, it's not just about supplying a product. I genuinely want our clinic to succeed and for their patient to be happy with the result. And I think that mindset really resonates with clinic owners.
Absolutely. And what do you think founders and clinic leaders often underestimate when it comes to building momentum in such a competitive market?
People often underestimate how powerful smaller differences can be. So you don't need to reinvent everything. Even 1% improvements can create real momentum. So it's really about making small, consistent changes rather than waiting for something completely new.
Absolutely. And looking ahead, we're now in Q2, the year is flying. What are some of the key priorities for 2026 for Rejuran?
Well, I cannot believe it's already April. So for 2026, we are focused on building a fully integrated Rejuran journey. So starting with in-clinic treatments and extending into home care and post-care support. So we are also introducing new additions, including the CPDRM professional care line and an ultrasound-based post-care device as well. So it's all to support the broader treatment journey. So it's about supporting the entire patient experience, not just the treatment's moment.
That's excellent. And what excites you most about this next stage of growth for the brand and business?
For me, what excites me most is the shift from Rejuran being a standalone treatment to becoming part of a more integrated approach. So we are seeing growing professional interest in how we may sit within more integrated treatments planning.
Kaitlyn, as a really accomplished and I'm assuming very busy woman and leader in the aesthetic industry, doubt that you stop and take time to look backwards. But if you could for a second, take a moment and let us know, reflecting on your entire journey, what are you most proud of?
For me, I'm proud of having the courage to start and to keep going with investment, with time and everything. So building something new always comes with uncertainty. We all feel that. But I'm still nervous about uncertainties. But every new step has uncertainties and stress, which means I'm going to the right direction. So looking back, the journey itself is what I'm most proud of.
Oh, that's so lovely. And you're so it's so true. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. There's always ups, there's always downs, and nothing's ever certain. And we're constantly learning that lesson over and over again.
Correct.
So
Exactly.
yeah. Next we're going to do rapid fire. So these ones are just really quick. What comes to mind first? Don't require a lot of thinking. Are you ready?
Yes.
What's one word that would best describe your leadership style?
Decisive with full responsibility.
And what's one quality every strong founder needs?
Courage, the courage to open new doors.
What's one business decision you're especially glad you made early?
Starting Rejuran?
What's one thing clinics value most in a brand partner today?
I would just say trust.
What's one lesson the industry could benefit from learning fast?
The importance of focusing on skin quality over quick results.
And are you a coffee or tea person?
Coffee, latte, please.
Early mornings or late nights?
Late nights.
What's one habit that keeps you grounded as a business leader?
Staying curious. I wanna learn everything. So staying curious is my thing.
I thought you were going to say golf.
That's why I want to be a golfer. but
Oh, not long. You'll be a pro golfer in no time.
thank you.
What does success look like for you in this season of business?
For me, success right now is seeing our clinics do well and knowing we are supporting them well, and also feeling that I'm building something meaningful.
Oh, and finally, what does being an aesthetic business master mean to you?
To me, it means having an amazing platform in the industry. Thank you, Nicole. And being able to share the journey in my own voice, even with my Korean accent. And thank you.
Well, I love your accent and I cannot thank you enough for your time today. It's been fantastic to learn from you and learn about your journey, because it really is a phenomenal journey and it is such a difficult industry. Can't underestimate how difficult this industry is. As you mentioned earlier, there's regulations, there's highs, there's lows, there's uncertainty, and building trust in the medical industry, medical aesthetics, even beauty is extremely difficult, and you have done a beautiful job.
Thank you so much.
And your beautiful team. They don't just look beautiful, they're incredible and they're so intelligent, and you've just created an amazing academy. And to be known for education, I mean, goodness me, it's a really strong brand position to be in. So well done.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed having the talk with you today.
Kaitlyn, thank you so much for joining us on the Aesthetic Business Masters podcast. It's been such a valuable conversation hearing about your founder journey, what you recognised early in the market, and how you've translated that vision into momentum, education, and trust around the Rejuran brand. What really stands out in this conversation is that strong brand growth doesn't happen by accident. It comes from clear leadership, thoughtful decision-making, commitment to education, and a long-term approach to building trust in the market. To everyone listening, thank you for joining us on the Aesthetic Business Masters podcast. We hope this episode gave you insight, not only into the Rejuran story, but also into what it takes to build and grow a brand with intention in the aesthetic industry. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, share it with your network, and leave us a review. Until next time, keep growing, keep innovating, and keep mastering the business of aesthetics.